Good evening, good evening, good evening, people of God. Listen, I just want to say this right here, right? I want to encourage my brothers and sisters, anybody that's dealing with the spirit of Laban. The spirit of Laban is being revealed. We know that Laban was a man who was um, very self-centered. He was focused on himself. He had selfish ambition. Um, he had no integrity. He was a liar. um he had no love in his heart for his own children, right? Because we know that he even used his children for selfish gain. And what brought me to this is I just got off the phone with a brother. I'm just getting done with my work, or I'm almost done with my work. But as I was getting home from work, a brother called me, and he's having a heavy heart. And it's been several brothers that I've been talking to over the last few days, have been noticing some things where they've been getting the short end of the stick. And this particular brother has been really, really stressed out. He says, Sabrina, he says, um, he said, I wanted to talk to you. He's like, I know that every time you see me, he said, I hate to talk to you like this because you've always been a very positive person. He said, I don't know. I can't say a negative thing about you. I don't know nobody that has ever said a negative thing or can say a negative thing about you. Obviously, he ain't met a lot of people that don't like me. But he's like, because you're so positive. And he was like, I know you have the spirit of the Lord in you. He said, but I'm not feeling that positive right now. And he was like, I really don't have nice things to say about blah blah blah, because the guy that owns the company he works for, um I was really close with his brother, the guy owner's brother. And then I always looked at them as decent people, but he did not do this guy right. And this guy has been one of his number one, uh how can I say it, helped him build his business. His Not only was he an employer, he was his friend. They made a deal on a handshake, and he did right by his friend. And he says, I hate to say all of this, he's like, but I just feel broken in my mind. He said, in my body, in my spirit, I just feel down. He was like, I've left the company because it's like, he owes me, for 9 weeks of pay, and he kept putting me off. And he's going through such a heavy time. And it's like, as I was listening to him talk, you know, what he's dealing with is the good side of it. I tried to help him see the good side of it. God provided you another way. He likes where he's at now. He can do the same thing that he's really good at doing. And I mean, this guy is brilliant. He can do anything. He can build, technology wise, he's brilliant. He can build websites. He's just very smart, And he said, this is the third time a friend has screwed me over. And he's like, I'm just feeling broken in my spirit, and I want to go. He's like, something inside of me is wanting to like put hands on this guy, but at the same time, he says, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not that type of person. I'm a good person. I have a good heart. I have good integrity. He was like, my integrity means a lot to me. And I said, I understand. I understand. And my advice to him was, if you want to take legal actions, you have a case, as well, and also give it to God. And I know I said unjust doesn't prosper, and I know this can sound a bit cliche. This can sound a bit cliche when you're going through it, because it's like, you are being wrong. You are in the midst of someone not paying you for your hard work. But I know that God is a God of restoration. And I've known this from in my own personal life over the years. I've gone through situations, maybe not to that extent, because I mean, at some point, you ain't about to get me to work 9 weeks in the hole and you keep putting me off, and I'm trusting you on your word. You ain't gonna get me to work like that, you know. And so it's like, I understand to a certain extent when you're being done wrong, and you're in the midst of somebody thinking they can take the piss out of you because of your kindness. You see, this guy is he's very strong mentally, but because he's so nice, sometimes you can be, when you are a good-hearted person, especially those of you who are empathetic, sometimes people take your kindness for weakness, because we come to people, or when we introduce ourselves to people, or when people get a whiff of us, we are simple. We're just simple. It's not complicated to interact with us, or just to see where we're coming from. It's not a guess. It's just like a simple, pure-hearted nature, and you want to do good by people. But sometimes when you come and you do good, when people see your good intentions, sometimes people will take advantage of that. They'll take your kindness for weakness, and that's the situation that his very friend has done to him. And so I began to talk to him and share some things about what was coming to my spirit about his situation, and encouraging him in the Lord, and, the word of God, and looking at it from a spiritual standpoint, and knowing that God is a God of restoration. And not only what was withheld from him, it will be restored. And after I got done with that, it just come to my spirit. The spirit of Laban is being revealed. And I reflected back on some things that, have been happening over the course of the last few weeks, where I've been communicating with people, and even some things that some hurdles that I myself have had to jump over. You know, that spirit of Laban, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. That spirit of Laban, if you go back to the Bible, and you can see where Laban was all about self, and he used his own daughters, when it comes to what he did with Jacob. Jacob was a blessed man. And those of you who are blessed, some of you, many times we go through things in life. Like my friend, he said, my spirit is just grieved. And when we start talking about it from a spiritual perspective, it's like, it's not that when we go through this life, it's not that this life is just so hard, or is just so miserable in this world. What happens is the righteous are grieved by the unrighteous. The wicked, they plot against the righteous, and it's like those who think that they're more cunning and they're more crafty in their mind, they like to try and bring people, take advantage of those who they feel that they're smarter than. And even you can be friends with somebody, and even though you may have done good by that friendship, you may have shown your support, you may have helped them, you may have supported their business, you may have, helped them build themselves up, and they don't do right by you. That's hurtful. That can grieve your spirit, because it's like he said, every time I try to call him, he's ignoring his phone call. He said, that's just what's pissing me off even more, because we're grown men, and he's now just ignoring me after I've done all of this for him. That grieves your spirit even more, and it makes you angry. But what happens is, like I told him, I said, God has already moved you from that place. When they do things, wicked things like that, and you have to go and move on, try to move on in peace. It can be hurtful, and sometimes they'll even laugh, because when some people are doing wicked, they just have it's like their hearts are so tough, they don't give a about us. They don't give a about our feelings sometimes when people do you wicked. And so sometimes they even get gloat. They can gloat at the fact that you're grieving, or they're causing you pain. Not saying that this is the same situation that's happening to him, but I told him, I said, just move on in peace, and you speak to God just how you're speaking to me. If you're angry, whatever you want to say, yell, get your frustrations out, and then turn it into the hands of God. Let God take vengeance for you. I said, I can guarantee you, because you have moved from that place, that business is not going to prosper. And already the area of this business that this guy was in charge of, that has gotten shut down. So he can't continue to even run business in that same area where this guy was over and helping him in. Why? Because he dealt with him treacherously and in crooked ways. And then other parts of his business is also beginning to struggle. I said, when wicked folk mistreat good people, they don't continue to be blessed. When you take advantage of good people, you don't continue to prosper and do good, right? And good people, when you're doing good by somebody who is constantly trying to do right by somebody who is taking advantage of you, who is not recognizing you for your good qualities, who's trying to sabotage or not appreciate your good efforts, if you continue to do good, they're going to drain you, not just physically, spiritually, but financially as well. So you have to separate yourself, right? And so he continued to stay there through trust and a handshake and good faith, because that was his friend. That's why it happened. He stayed there for so long, being taken advantage of. But the spirit of Laban does not prosper when the blessed one separates. And they do reap what they sow. Whatever a man sow, that shall they also reap. You know, Jacob was taken advantage of by Laban. He continued to stay because he thought he was working for the woman that he wanted. So he was taken advantage of for 7 whole years and lied to deliberately and used and manipulated. And then after that, when he found out, you didn't make end up good on your bargain, then Laban cunningly took advantage of him, make him work another 7 years. Jacob was a man of integrity. That's why God chose him. He had integrity about himself. And so he had to work another 7 years. That's 14 years. And then he got the woman that he wanted. And then after that 14 years, he continued to work for several more years. I can't remember how many more years, but he continued to work over 14 something years, way plus over 14 years, because he continued to stay there. And then Laban did something with the sheep, right? And even though he tried to come him, but how he was going to give him his fair portion of the cattle, the animals, or whatever, how Jacob was managing them, they still continued to multiply, and he had the strongest of the herds, you know. So he still prospered. Why? He was putting his own hands to the plow. He was working. Everything he put his hands to prospered. And because Jacob was connected to him, Jacob prospered. Not because Jacob was a man of integrity, not because he had any righteousness about himself. He was a liar. He was a deceiver. He was a manipulator. He had selfish ambition. But he prospered because the blessed one was connected to him. You see? And so when Jacob decided, you know what, I'm getting away from him. He ain't never going to do right by me. He continued to deceive. Every agreement they came to, he looked in his face and lied to him. No integrity. Looked in his face and lied to him. And so when Jacob finally made up his mind to leave, he left. He didn't want no problems. So he left in the late night when nobody wouldn't, he left and tried to be peace. Laban chased him down. I've learned through divination that you are blessed. He told him, I learned through divination, witchcraft, familiar spirits, that I've been blessed because of you. So communicating with the dead is what some people do when they're operating in divination. Is very real. And sometimes these spirits will give them truth. Sometimes these spirits will give them lies or give them things that they know that they can get connected, to you. Divination is very real. It's nothing new under the sun. It's in the Bible. He said, I know through divination I've been blessed because of you. So he did not want to let him go. He kept trying to keep a stronghold on him. Any of you, sometimes you walk away from people that don't recognize you. They don't love you. So you just walk on by. But they don't let you go. They try to start rumors on you. They try to assassinate your character. That's the spirit of Laban. They don't want to let you go in peace. Meanwhile, you ain't started no big commotion. You don't even want to argue. You don't even want to deal with it, because sometimes when you done try and you done try to communicate, you done try to get on one accord, you done try to make things right, they take advantage of it. They think, oh, you just trying to get my attention. Some people think too highly of themselves. Or you just want, attention. Want attention to talk to you about something that you did wrong, to try to address this situation. They don't never try to understand you. They deliberately misunderstand you. Why? Because they don't want to be held accountable. See? They don't want to be held accountable. And so when you just, okay, I'm going to go in peace. God bless you. I love you. Forgive you. Just go in peace. When you go in peace, that when the rumors start. That when the flying monkeys start. See? They got something going on the inside of here. When you get into the cipher, and you'll see, because I don't think King James goes into full detail, it goes into detail where he met up with Esau because he knew there was trouble between Jacob and Esau. See, then he was dirty. See, after Jacob served him all them years, and he know he took advantage of Jacob, he go and he lie. He find Esau and he lie and make Esau even angrier. Jacob had already told him he was fleeing from Esau when he first came to him, when he first was staying there. See, so he took what information he knew about him and Esau, upset, and he went and tried to stir up even more problems with Jacob and Esau, right? He didn't have no loving heart. He didn't care that Esau would try to go and kill his brother Jacob. He was a treacherous man. Knowing that Jacob got his 2 daughters and married to his 2 daughters, he still didn't care. See? Why would I stir up trouble with these 2 brothers? I didn't have to tell him nothing. He didn't have to tell Esau nothing. No, he told Esau Jacob stole from him. He was a liar. You see what I'm saying? The spirit of Laban is being revealed. And so this brother that's going through this with his own friend that kept using him, kept getting him to work, kept putting him off, saying, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to double it up this time. I'm going to double it up this time. And withholding money. And all of a sudden now he just go ghost on him. He go ghost on him because he can't use him no more. He can't lie to him no more. So he just go ghost on him. See? But his friend stood there with a good heart. A good heart. He acted in good faith. He did nothing wrong to this guy. It don't feel good, but I can tell you what. The wicked will never go unpunished. You got to trust God. If you're going through situations like that, where people have take your kindness for weakness, where somebody has stolen from you and deliberately trying to take you down or trying to make you look like a bad person after you have been there and supported them and helped them, and they're mad because they can no longer use you no more, or they took you for granted, or they took your kindness for weakness, and so you did like Jacob. You just going on about your way. And now they try to make trouble on your name, right? The spirit of Laban is being revealed, but there is no rest for the wicked. Whatsoever a man or woman sow, that shall we also reap. You do good in good faith, God will repay you. I'm telling you, God will repay. The word that came to me last month, acceleration and restoration, it's already been happening. And I told this brother, I said, God is going to restore you. The quicker you can pray and give it to him every day, press on, give it to him. Press on, give it to him. Thank you for the job that you've given me, God. Focus on the good thing. Because you was able to jump after you realized that he was full of shit and he kept stringing you along. Now you jump, another door open for you just like that. And you like what you're doing. Focus on what God did for you. God know your heart. He know your good deeds. He know how you stood there and helped run that business because you wanted to see your friend prosper. You supported him. You wanted to see him prosper. But he repaid your good with evil. See, he's brought himself under a curse. Now that same area that he was operating that business in, one part of his business and closed down. Another part of his business is about to shut down. And then he can't keep going on like that for so long. See, the Bible says when a man repay evil for good, evil shall never depart from his house. That's a curse. Not because I said it, but because it is written. See, so you do good on purpose. Always do good. Always do good. And don't say, oh, I can't wait for them to get it back. I know it's easy to jump into that mindset, especially when they done took the piss out of you and it seemed like they have no remorse. Understand what is written is true. There is no rest for the wicked. When you got a pure heart, you can sleep good at night, baby. I sleep good every night. Even when trouble comes, even when opposition comes, I sleep good at night. I sleep good. I don't have to stay up worried. Now, sometimes I go to bed late. I get a little cat night sleep because I work long hours sometimes, But other than that, I sleep good. And tomorrow I ain't gonna work no hour. I'm gonna take off and pamper myself tomorrow. I worked over 15 hours yesterday. I think I work over almost 14 hours a day. Sometimes when you're doing something you like to do and you're working for yourself, you don't really pay attention to how long you going until your body, sometimes you be like, damn, my eyes feeling a little funny. Your eyes is telling you to look at that time and look at how long you've been going. You need to take a break, and so sometimes I have to try to be cognizant of what time did I start, because I don't keep up with the hours. I just be going till I try to get everything that I had on schedule for that day done. But sometimes you have to take a break like that. You work a lot, you know. But there's no rest for the wicked, baby. I sleep good at night. The wicked don't got peace. No matter how much they try to put on a facade, they don't got peace. And the more they try to bury the name of the righteous, of people who are innocent, people who literally did nothing to them, people who blessed them and not did anything harm to them. If they curse you, if they repay your good for evil, evil shall never depart from their house. See? Evil shall never depart from their house. That's written. And so this guy now, the fact that my friend has jumped onto a new job, this guy that's been withholding pay, bad things doors are constantly shut into all the areas he was operating. His whole business had different cities that he was operating in. So the doors are slowly shutting. The doors are slowly shut, and people are walking away because he did it to this guy. He doing it to other people. You know, if somebody is taking a piss out of you or done you wrong, trust me, you ain't the first one. You ain't the first one. But sometimes God use you. You may be the last. You may have just been the last one that had to walk through there before final judgment hits them. They give them opportunity to see if they had a heart change, right? Because we can't take nothing in this life with us to the next life. That's why I say I don't see why people go so crazy over this material stuff, trying to block somebody, trying to cause harm for somebody, trying to think that because somebody don't look like you, somebody don't talk like you want to exclude them, or you want to try to make them look bad, or you want to try to cause them to, kick them down when you see them trying to climb up, or if you already above them, you know what I'm saying? You trying to kick them down, or if you see them climbing up, or if you not where they are and you see them climbing, you try to pull them down. Why? When you can start climbing too. Why try to kick somebody down when you can lend a hand and give them a hand up? They ain't asking you for a hand out. Why not lend your hand and just help pull them up a little bit? Selfish ambition. That's the spirit of Laban. That's the spirit of Laban. And it's being revealed every day. Every day it's being revealed. Laban had no integrity. He was a liar, a manipulator, a wicked man at heart. He set his own daughter up, Leah, to be rejected because he gave her to a man that he knew did not wanted her, but he was all focused on himself. If I could just keep him here, I'll be a blessing because he's blessed. He wanted to keep Jacob under him so that he could continue to prosper. But I tell you, those of you, especially those of you who are empaths, your heart is connected to the heart of the Father. You feel stuff, and you can't absorb too much toxicity and too much negativity of the world. You have to stay in a joyful place. You can't listen to too many people problems back to back, because that could take your spirit so down. When we hear people going through things, when we see all the negativity or sad things, too many sad things, it could really grieve our spirit. It affects our health. It does. And so, you have to guard your heart, guard your soul, guard your ears, and your eye gates, and stay positive. But unjust does not prosper. The spirit of Laban is being revealed, right? And it's being revealed because the separation must happen. God's people must depart and separate from the spirit of Laban. Laban can no longer ride off of the necks and the backs of God's people. He can no longer use and manipulate God's people. That is why God is opening the eyes of his people. The spirit of Laban is being revealed. And so anyway, but unjust doesn't prosper. When a man or woman repays evil for good, evil shall never depart from their home. The righteous shall be recompensed within the earth. That's a promise. So anyway, have a blessed night and be encouraged. Don't let nobody who's already going down, who's full of wickedness and deception and selfish ambition, cause you to do anything to get yourself in trouble. Just move around them and you keep on going. They hurt you. They done things to sabotage your good deeds, right? Pray for them. Forgive them. Move around them. God will restore everything. Right? Trust God. Give it to God. They don't prosper. They don't sleep good at night. Right? You cannot be blessed by trying to hurt somebody else, by trying to take from somebody else in order to build yourself up. At some point, God has to step in. Right? So trust God. Turn it in his hands. If you're dealing with a spirit of Laban, give it to God and separate yourself. Have a blessed night. I love you.